Hi, I'm Ianifa Daniafa Omishango. I am a spiritual awakening doula for the African American diaspora, Ifa priestess, and entrepreneurial mommy. This morning, I ran across a meme in my Facebook memories regarding spending your entire life correcting the pronunciation of your name. And it got me to thinking and ultimately receiving a download about the significance of names and why this is such a deal thing in the Black community. I know more Black people than anyone else that can relate to this. Not that there are not others, but I'm Black and I have a lot of Black friends. So I thought about myself and my life and the relationship that I have cultivated with my name. Even after crowning and initiating as a priestess and getting an Ifa name and my, elder mother saying, okay, how do you want to be addressed? I made sure to include Daniya in my Ifa name because of the power that I understand my first name holds. So when I was younger, I spent a lot of time in elementary school correcting people. I often tell the story of a substitute teacher coming in and reading my name as David. And so after a while, I stopped correcting people. Honestly, as a kid, it was just merely exhausting. So you either needed to call me D, or I would just eliminate a syllable in my name and just say, call me Danya. And for me, it was just like, I just did not feel, I just didn't have the strength to do it. And then one day, all of a sudden, I realized, like, I think it initially happened by accident. I was in a team meeting and we were telling a story, and then I told that story and I reminded them, in the story, I didn't correct the teacher, my classmates did. They yelled out, her name is Dania. And I just remember. But what was funny is, as an adult at work, when I'm telling this setting in our team meeting, everyone looked at me and was like, have we all been saying your name incorrectly? And I was like, and they're like, why didn't you tell us? And my team was predominantly Black. And, but again, when you spend your entire life correcting people, you are completely exhausted. I just didn't have it in me to do. So I was thinking about that and thinking about the shift in my energy after I started correcting people. My corporate job really did have a hand in that because all of a sudden all these people around me are calling me by my full first name and not calling me D. So then I had it like, okay, I'm just telling people it's Dania, it's Dania, it's Dania, it's Dania. Why is this significant? Why does it even matter? Why is this important? So, a couple of reasons. As you know, I'm a numerologist. There is a vibration associated with your entire name. But your first name, that is the thing that people call you the most. So, its vibration is the most potent of all the names that you're addressed as. That number that is associated with your first name is also your growth number. It is the lesson that you're learning to help propel you in life and move you towards your greatness and your life path. The first letter in your first name is your cornerstone. And as you know, when you're building, the cornerstone is the thing that holds the structure together. It's the foundation. So then I was like, okay. The other thing is the significance of my name personally. My grandfather gave my parents a list of names in Hebrew because my parents wanted us to have Hebrew names because I was raised as an Israelite. And so they chose this one. They could have easily named me Danielle. Danielle means the same thing. My name means God is my judge. But most people don't always think about L in the relation to meaning God. But most people remember Yah means God. That's why it's also significant in the fact that I changed the pronunciation of the Yah to Yah when I just told people to call me something else. It's like the vibration of God in my name. I muted it. So when I think about this collectively for Black people, I think about our ancestors that were enslaved or colonized and them having to change their names. As Black people, as African descended people, our ancestors understood the power of their name. There was significance. Examples for me, I think about the fact that I can recognize somebody who is at minimum Nigerian. They might be Igbo or Yoruba, but at minimum, I know they're Nigerian. Why do you think that is? Because now I can actually recognize praise names of Orisha in their names, meaning they have been imbued with divine energy within their name. And if you think the colonizers didn't recognize the power names hold, bless your heart. They understood. That's why they stripped them of their names. They stripped them of their names, their identity, their power. And instead of calling them by their natural names, they wanted them to have names that the colonizers could say. I would encourage you to think about that for a moment, because I, in my life, have said my name, Dania. All you got to do is repeat what you heard. Dania, just repeat it. I said it, you heard it, you simply have to echo it. And yet, I have had more people say it completely different in my face as I've repeated it to them. So, and you think about your ancestors that fought against changing their name. Some may have died, and the ones that lived were simply probably exhausted. They relented and said, okay, whatever is now my name. So then we fast forward and we're quote unquote free. And we look at some of it's common that people say that Black people give their kids weird names, especially in African American community. But think about, see, generational trauma and generational healing will manifest differently in different people. So we have the generational trauma of being stripped of their names. You couldn't have a name that you chose. You had to have the name Master gave you. So there's the trauma that is in our RNA that is carried as a seed, just worming its way through us for generations. And then all of a sudden you get this generation that is just giving their kids what would quote unquote be seen some of the wildest names. Why would you ever call your child that? Who does that sound like? Sound a lot like Master, doesn't it? Shouldn't you give them a name that will work? Like Bobby or Ricky? These people, it's just manifesting differently in them. I'm going to call my child whatever I want to call my child because it's my child. There's also the significance. Regardless of whether you think that significance is important to you, it doesn't matter. It's not your kid and it's not their name. All that matters is there was a significance to the parent and that they held the power and the control to be able to name their child. Regardless of how you feel about the situation, you have to stop seeing it from an egoistic little human perspective and see the bigger picture. These Black people are healing the wound of having to have a colonized appropriate name for their children. They have a name. Whether that name is from a different language or is just simply something that meant something to the mother or the father at the time when they named their child. You don't have to get it. We have to release the judgment in the way the healing of our community manifests in each other. Because it's not your healing journey. We are shifting power as a collective, and it's going to individualize itself with each person because each person's ashe is different. So I challenge you, if you are Black, think about the power your name holds. Everyone, but especially Black people, I need you to think about the power of your name. Research the numerology of your name. Understand what vibration you chose for your name. Your full name, first, middle, and last, that's on your birth certificate that you were given at birth, that is the name of your destiny. When I've told this before, both of my parents in some capacity had the names on their birth certificate changed. My mother's original name never made it to the birth certificate. A nurse that no one knows had nothing to do with her birth showed up out of nowhere and told her parents what her name was. And they took it. Let's just talk about how, like, what they took the name and thus created a destiny for my mother. My mother's destiny number is 11. My life path number is 11. My father, who would have been named after my grandfather's original name, but because my grandfather took a Hebrew name when he decided to walk that path, he gave my father a Hebrew name, thus shifting my father's destiny. My father's destiny number is also 11. Some things, that's just a coincidence. So two 11s got together and gave birth to a child who's also an 11. I, whatever. So yes, I encourage you, definitely tap into your name. And also I challenge everyone to learn to pronounce people's names correctly. There is an energy and a vibration to the correct pronunciation of the name. It doesn't matter how it is spelled. It only matters that you respect their name and pronounce it correctly. This is also healing your lineage, because chances are there was somebody in your lineage that forced someone to change their name, that forced them to call themselves something different. And thus, by you purposely making sure that when you talk to people, you address them by the name they want to be called and say it correctly, you are also removing a curse. For us, it's a wound. If you are curious about, like, okay, well, what's my destiny number, blah, blah, by all means, feel free to inbox me $1 a letter in your full name, and I'll calculate your destiny number for you. If you want something else, like your growth number, your heart's desire number, your personality number, all of these things are associated with your name, the vibration of your ancestry, then we'll talk about it. We'll talk. I'll give you a special. It's the anniversary of my business, So I'm in a good mood. But I'm thankful for the inspiration for this. And I got beautiful confirmation. An astrologer I follow, Alyssa Sharp, she had actually done a video about Mars in your birth chart reflecting your name. So make sure you check that video out, because it was really cool for me to like look and say, oh snap, it really is my name. Wow, that's dope. But thank you so much again, and y'all have a beautiful rest of your day. Take care.